Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are celebrating Grantwood Elementary School and the leadership that this school occupies in the east side of our town. We have a lot of discussions about this place, but this place has a very special part in my heart. And I will do this after I get the honor of introducing my co-host. Judy VanDyke is our co-host tonight. We would like to see you again and again.
Thank you.
So you add something nice to the hosting function of this program. Grantwood was the first school I taught in the district at the time of Paul Davis, when Paul Davis, the great leader, was a principal and a dance trainer. Huh. And it was a wonderful time. I have never seen such tremendous support for the arts and sports as I have seen with Paul Davis. And I was extremely happy when the lady who's running the show now, who followed after a couple of transitions, who followed Paul Davis, is Kate Callahan, who is the same. I see in Kate just a mirror image of Paul Davis. And my distinguished guest tonight is Jan Grenko Lehman. Jan Grenko Lehman was selected by Kate Callahan to represent the whole school. And she said, there is nobody in my school that can really represent our school more than Jan. So it's a lot of responsibility on your shoulder.
A big responsibility on my shoulder.
And another one is the fact that you are the coordinator of physical education in the Iowa City Community School District, which is a big task.
Correct. That covers kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, through our high schools. And it's something that we think is important. And so I'm very pleased and humbled that the district allows me to have that role, as well as teach at Grantwood.
So tell us something about Grantwood School. The numbers and all these discussions that we hear about it, and the diversity issues, and how are you doing there?
Grantwood, what's fun about Grantwood is it is such a diverse building. We have over 500 students, which is a lot of students, but they all bring something special to the school. It's really an extension of a family. They're through the staff that's there. The teachers are absolutely wonderful. They work long hours to meet the needs of all those students. The students all bring that individual to a classroom, which then makes that whole building, and it makes it unique. And for me, I also have a fondness for Grantwood because all three of my children went to Grantwood. So it's a special home for me.
It's family.
It's family.
Mm-hmm.
Julie.
The Grantwood teachers and the staff and the people that work there have been in the news quite a bit lately, and they are thought very highly of. But I have to say how proud I was to see Grantwood teachers speaking up recently on behalf of their students, the quality of their students, and how much they really, really matter, and it made me feel so good. How did you feel seeing teachers with the courage enough to stand up and actually say that
that tells
at meetings?
That tells, hopefully, the community what people get when their children go to Grantwood. That we're educators. We're teaching those students, but we're also there as really an extension of their family. And we're protective of each other. Mm-hmm. We really care about what happens to our students. We want to see them be successful. We know we can help them be successful. And that's the real exciting part about being at Grantwood, is there are so many different resources, and people within the building that are there to make sure
The teamwork's
each and
real.
every child leaves feeling successful and good about themselves, confident, self-esteem, and feeling a part of that Grantwood community as a whole.
And they carry that with them
And
out. Yeah.
and they do, wherever they go, once they leave Grantwood and go on to junior high and high school, and you run into students who come back, who just have a fondness and a connection to our building. That's because of the staff that's there. And it's just an exciting place to be.
It's amazing, Julie, that this school, since I was there, and I'm talking here about 20 years ago, you never see this kind of conflicts that you may see in other schools, you know, fights and, you know, cliques. And there is such a harmony there between kids, and it's a really very healthy atmosphere. Would you like to jump?
It will serve
yeah.
them well, you know, through life. It seems to me that this school fosters teamwork on all levels and community and truly caring about each other, and that by the example that you set, you really have passed that down onto the children. And then that's going to go out with them to junior high and high school and college and out into life. So you're not just preparing them to pass a bubble test or meet a standard. You're actually preparing them with life skills that others may not get such benefit from because of the level of teamwork and commitment that you all have together, and that you've really shown. I've seen it quite visibly publicly in the last year especially.
That speaks volumes to our staff and the dedication they have. That's the other thing we hear when we have visitors come to our building. That they're looking at the students, they're happy, they're busy, they're engaged, they're learning. And that's what you want to see when you walk into a school. And I think we have that established.
Yeah, you can actually teach enthusiasm, can't you?
Yes, yes.
And it's really amazing that most people who work at Grantwood, they proceed later and do something bigger in their lives. You know, you leave Grantwood with good foundation. I take myself, for example, you know, I moved from Grantwood to CEC, which was the alternative secondary school. And without my experience in Grantwood, I would have never succeeded at CEC.
Right.
And I have a friend, Caleb Thomas, who used to be your counselor. He's now having his own nonprofit organization to help young black kids focus into curriculum and education and tutoring. And so people who work there always proceed to, it happens with Davis himself, Paul Davis, you know. So let us turn around now and look at the other side of your day, where you become the director or the coordinator of PE. What does the word coordinator mean for people who are listening to me now? And what does this word mean?
It entails several things. This time of year right now, it means I'm ordering equipment for all of the elementary buildings. We just had, and we'll talk more about that, we just had our 58th annual elementary track meet,
Right.
which takes us 3 days, covers over 1,900 students participating. And it's organizing that event, working with the physical education staff in the district. This fall, we'll be going through curriculum review. So we're going to be looking at our program. Are we meeting the needs of the students, and or what are some other things that we can do? We have a survey out which we would like parents to take the time. We're asking for about 5 minutes to take the time, and that should be located on the website. Emails have gone out to contact parents to take the time to do that. We'll visit with the students to have them take a survey to find out, are we meeting their needs? Are there things that we could do differently? We want to stay in touch with what students are doing now, and part of that is looking at the high schools and what they're doing. And I think our high schools are doing a nice job of starting to meet those needs of students through the programming that they're offering.
The survey's painless. It took me 30 seconds. It was easy. It wasn't complex. I mean, and the feedback will be helpful and important. It was nice to actually be approached for that feedback on a large scale. That was one of the first surveys that's come out from the district through email, and I thought it was a really effective delivery.
Good. That's what we're hoping, that people will take advantage of that, because that feedback really is important for us in going forward in what we want to do with our programming and making sure students are healthy and active.
Julie and I, we both have kids at elementary level.
At Horn as of next year.
My daughter is at Horn, and your kids are?
My son will be at Horn next year.
Okay, and this year is at Hills.
At Hills, yes.
So, you know, it's good that you are co-host, but you, above all, you are a parent.
The most important role.
And you are sitting next to the coordinator of the PE in the district. What is the inventory list that you go through and say, wait, we need more here or less there, or what, as a parent?
Well, I mean, we've all read, there's a lot of research that's coming out and has been over the years, and one of the things that impressed me most, and I was not a big team sports person when I was younger, is the effect that can have on teamwork and on skills and social skills. And I just see it isn't just about getting out there and getting a little exercise. I see so many benefits and so many ways that physical activity and having it become normative can improve many things for these kids. What do you see that adequate, and I would like to see more PE time in the schools, but what do you see that adequate PE time can do to benefit these kids in other ways?
At the elementary level, we meet our students 25-minute blocks.
Okay.
And somebody's going to say that's not enough time.
Once a week? Or?
We meet kindergarten. We'll meet twice a week, so they'll meet for a total of 50 minutes. First grade through fourth grade, we'll meet 3 times a week. Good. And our 5th and 6th graders we'll see 4 times a week. Good. So we see them almost every day. And you can do the trade-off on saying 25 minutes is not enough. But I would rather have that almost daily contact where I can check up on their progress. We can do a continuation on skills that we're learning, versus I'm going to get you in a 45-minute block and I'm not going to see you the rest of the week.
Exactly.
We don't ask kids to read 1 day a week. Why would we ask students to only be active 1 day a week? And so I think it's important, and if you look at the research that is now coming out, when people question why physical education is a part of the school day, we're looking at educating the entire child. We want them to be healthy. We want them to be active. It reduces the number of days that they're sick or gone.
Absolutely.
If you're healthy and active, you're engaged in the classroom, your learning is going to go up. Studies will show that if you have moderate to vigorous activities prior to your toughest class, math could be your toughest class, language arts could be your toughest class. If you have that prior to, you're going to see an increase in their grade point.
So like right before or shortly before that class?
Right.
Okay.
Good example would be when we do our Iowa test in the fall. That if the students take 5 minutes and they're moving and they get their heart rate up, they can sit down and be very attentive to that test, and you're going to see academic improvement based on their physical activity. And so the healthier we can get kids, the better academic students we're going to have. In Iowa City, we all know, is a wonderful place for academics. And we just want to be a part of that and help that continue to grow.
Well, and mood and focus. I mean, I see all of those things, but are benefited by physical activity and by it becoming an identified coping skill even.
And it's just like anybody else. You go for a walk, you feel better when you're done. Same thing with the students.
You have something for our audience tonight?
I do. I have, it's kind of tying in with that. This is the 2nd year at Grant Wood. We're the only school in Iowa City that is running this program. This program is a switch program, and you're going to see a little graphic come up. And what this is a program that runs for 4 months. The students, at no cost to them, each month receive a magazine. And in this magazine, we're looking at switching what you do, switching what you chew, switching what you view. They receive a pedometer, they receive it's called a screenometer, a tracker sheet. And with that, then on this next one, it's telling us that we want to see them switch what they do. So we want to see kids be more active. We want to see students switch what they chew. We're looking for them to make healthier choices. And then switch what they view. We want to decrease their screen time. If you look at students that right now, after school, I go home, I turn the TV on, I'm not active. We're looking for them to increase their physical activity time to a minimum of 60 minutes a day. We would like to see that increase, and they're going to track that for 1 week. And then they go and they switch what they chew, and we're looking for them to increase and make choices to choose fruits and vegetables and have 5 servings of those instead of reaching for the candy or reaching for the chips. And they'll track that for a week to see.
So this is all bringing in really great data, isn't it?
And then our last one is to switch what you view. And we want to see that screen time. Cell phones, computers, video games, TV, decrease that down to 2 hours or less. Now, when it's educational time, we don't count during school when they're doing their computer work. And this goes home with the parents, and it's a family activity. And with that family activity, then the students working with their parents, and inside these magazines, there's also sample recipes. There are activities, so when the student says, I'm bored, I don't know what to do, there are activities they can cut out and throw in a jar, and mom or dad can say, go to the activity jar. What does it say to do? It may say, you know, run a lap around the house. It may say go outside and play a game. It may be read a book to a student. And we found last year, when we did our survey with our parents at the end of the four weeks, or 4 months, that the parents we had a 94% satisfaction rate, that they saw the changes.
Impressive.
They saw their children going outside. They saw their children making that choice to eat the fruits or vegetables and decrease. And when they come back to school, that turns around and it relates to what's happening in the classroom. And so this is our second year of doing this. And I haven't got the surveys back to see what the satisfaction rate is, but I will expect the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Yes.
but we have had a lot of articles recently about the government putting or interfering with parents' decision of what they have to their kids to eat and what they have their kids to view and what they have their kids to listen to in classrooms. Of course, without taking sides here, because each one of us somehow, especially in a season like this where there is political polarization, taking some sides. But regardless of all that, how do you deal with this controversy? Because a lot of parents say, you don't tell my kid, chocolate is very good. Or the lady would come and say, well, in our culture, it's okay to eat this kind of food. How do you...
I'm glad you asked that. In our elementaries, we have a variety of different activities that we do throughout the year. One of our units is a nutrition unit. And our goal is to let students know that there is everyday food and there's sometimes food. And that sometimes food is when you say, well, maybe I want some chocolate. Is that bad for me? In moderation, no. Is it an everyday food? No. Is it a sometimes food? Yes.
Putting it in perspective.
Do you want, you know, it's a birthday, do you want that piece of cake? Can I have that every day? It's not the best thing in the world for me, but could I have it today? And it's about making choices and understanding along the way, being educated, and if I can be educated, then I can make those healthier choices. Because we all know if you take things away, if we look at our obesity rate and dealing with food, when you start to take things away, that's what people crave. So if we tell them every day, everyday food, sometimes food, that's an easy term for elementary students to understand, and hopefully then make that choice. It's our job to educate, and we'll give you some guidelines, and from there we hope that you're understanding what it takes to help you become a physical active individual.
The New York Times had an article a couple of days ago by a very distinguished author. And her point of view was that the issue of obesity has to do with culture. And in some cultures, it's an insult to lose weight so much. And in other cultures, attractiveness or beauty is judged by the amount of weight that you have. So she was trying to say that the government should not really enforce this as opposed to what other people would push for. And I know this can create a lot of controversy for your decision.
For us, you were talking earlier about Grant Wood and being a diverse population.
Right.
And we run into that. The nice thing for us is we fitness test during the year. And you can look at an individual and say, oh, I don't know if they're healthy. When you do that fitness test, you're going to find out they may be the most flexible person. Mm-hmm. They may fall in the range for our cardiovascular test.
Right.
They may have upper body strength that you didn't know they had unless we test that. And then that also gives us the opportunity to educate and talk about, here are some things that we could do, but you're always conscious of their culture and that diversity and how that fits, because it really does come from what happens at home. And we want to make sure that's a partnership between the schools and the families.
It increases the chance of success.
Right.
And when you talked about the program that you're doing right now, I mean, what I heard out of that is that you're involving the entire family in change. And when you involve an entire family in it, I think you increase the success for the child. But then that also goes out to help the other family members as well, and it brings them together as a family in an activity.
It's simple things for them to do. It gives the child ownership. It helps them become the teacher within the family. And so it puts them in another role. Yeah. And it's just another way to help students figure out, I can do things outside of school. I can be active, and when you do it as a family, you're going to have more success, and it is going to be fun. And that's the exciting part.
And it's things that they'll remember and value throughout their life.
We hope, because those are things that they're always going to have. When we hand them that material, that's theirs to keep. And so that they'll always have that to go back on. So that's just one of the fun things that we get to do. We have a lot of other activities that we do throughout the year. Our Jump Rope for Heart is an annual event. We like that because we consider it a community service, because funds that are raised, we're able to keep right here at the University of Iowa. So we are doing a service for heart research. And like I said, we're fortunate that that money stays here.
It's community.
We just completed a bike and walk to school week. We did ours a little bit earlier than everybody else. And it was so exciting to meet the students in the morning and watch them be excited that they walked with a brother or sister or a friend in the neighborhood, or they rode their bike. And they were taking pride in what they were doing to become active. And that's something that will continue then for the rest of their lives. You start that foundation and allow them to build. And that's what we hope we're getting done at Grant Wood.
I would like to ask you a question. I know we have about 3 or 4 minutes, but I want to ask you about integration of other subject matters with your program.
I'm so glad you asked that. It's fun for me to find out some things that they're doing in the classroom. I like to tie in reading. We have a special activity to do around Thanksgiving where they're doing a letter search They're doing a physical activity. When they complete that, they get to pick out a letter, and they're spelling out different words that are associated with Thanksgiving. So they're working on letter recognition. They're working on their spelling. We do different activities where it may be set up like a board game, and you have to read what it says, and it may tell me I have to do 10 push-ups and jump rope 10 times and move on to the next station. But that reading is incorporated. We do a math problem. It's double multiplication, and they have to use dice, and they have to multiply that. And it's a game, but there's activities attached to it. We do things with bar graphs where they have to read the bar graph, and it will tell them what the exercise is. And so it's, again, it's learning. I want students to know learning is everywhere. I want them to know math is everywhere. I want them to know reading is everywhere, and that we're an extension and a valued part of the education program and what's happening in the classroom. We can tie in. And we have so many students that are kinesthetic learners. I will learn better if I'm moving and I'm active. If you just sit me in a chair, sometimes I'm not going to get it. But if you have me moving and do that, we do a heart obstacle course, which they are the blood cells that travel in and out of the heart, and so they understand there are 4 chambers of the heart. At this point, I'm carrying carbon dioxide. At this time, I'm carrying oxygen. I can move so much better when I have oxygen.
You put it with biology.
And it all fits and it all ties together.
Jen, we have Emily Ashenfelter as the director with us tonight, working with Mike Peterson. So should just give me a hint that we have less than a minute. I would like to give it to Julie to ask the final question. And you do a short answer before I wrap things up. Go ahead.
What would be the most helpful thing that the community could give to you to make change? To enhance the things that you're doing. What could the community do? And is that money? Is that activity? Is that volunteerism?
We're starting to get there as schools, especially at the elementary level facilities, are an issue, as we're starting to build multi-purpose rooms so we have that bigger space to understand that we are a valued part of the education system, that we do have a need to be a part of that we keep kids active, we're helping their academics, we're more than just playing games.
Jan, it has been a pleasure having you tonight. I wish we had more time to spend with you and Julie tonight. Thank you, Julie, for being a host.
Thank you so much.
You have done a better job than me. No. I learned a lot from you. And thanks to John Karhoff in the control room, Mike Peterson, Emily Ashenfelter. And this program will be on Saturday at 2:30 on Public Access TV, on Monday at 7 o'clock on Public Access TV, all the time on the Education Channel 21, as well as YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, you can always find us there. And we, again, so appreciative to the knowledge and the information that we got from you tonight.
We always enjoy the opportunity to talk about
Ladies and gentlemen, have a very good evening. Thank you.